Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Wednesday, April 6th, 2022. There will be a TFR episode tonight, but a quick rundown of the top headlines today. Pope Francis kisses the Ukrainian flag. This reportedly happens today. And I just want you to see the ritual. It's clear as day when you know the language of Gematria. From the Pope's birthday to today, the day he kisses the Ukraine flag, is 110 days. And, of course, in Gematria, Ukraine equals 110. And we've been talking about the significance of Ukraine equating to 110 in light of some of the rituals that have taken place with the comparisons between 9/11 and September 11th. You might recall on the anniversary of the World Trade Center bombing, they were showing how a tower in Ukraine was hit with a missile. And, of course, it was simulated, with Operation Amalgam Virgo, targets like the World Trade Centers being hit with missiles, and the symbolism that they were showing on February 26th of the images out of Ukraine, it looked a lot like the towers when they were burning before they collapsed. But remember, the World Trade Centers were 110 stories tall, and their demise was blamed on Osama bin Laden, which equals 110. But remember, the World Trade Centers, they had the trident as part of their symbolism in the architecture. And again, the World Trade Center is 110 stories tall, Ukraine 110. On their coat of arms is the trident. And of course, Poseidon equals 119, like Vatican, like Francis. And September 11th, and the majority of the world's written 11/9, like 119. And remember, from the day Obama took office to the day that Osama was supposedly killed was exactly 119 weeks. And you might recall, at the beginning of this whole skirmish, they said that Putin was planning a false flag to enter Ukraine, and that was the same day that Biden supposedly watched the assassination of an ISIS leader. And that just happened to be 119 days after Putin's birthday. Again, Poseidon's 119, which goes with the whole trident thing. And it goes with the whole 9/11 thing. So anyway, just the ongoing themes, and we've continued to show how all of these rituals are synced up with the Pope and the Superior General, which shows that ultimately it's the Catholic Church and Vatican that's behind the theater of war in Ukraine, which is at the heart of this New World Order agenda that's driving up energy prices, that's causing people to commute less, to consume less, which are the exact goals of Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, which Pope Francis is a huge advocate for. Pope Francis, the man who's written the encyclicals in support of Agenda 21 and 2030 to reduce global emissions, to reduce global consumption, to reduce global travel. So it's not to say that those goals aren't honorable and noble in some ways, because we do need to do a better job of taking care of Earth. We have trashed the place we call home. But is this the way to go about it? Scaring people, creating a false pandemic, creating a false war, all these excuses? No, this is evil. You don't achieve the right things with evil and lies and deceit. But that's what the Jesuits do. See, that's what you have to understand about the Jesuits. That's why the Jesuits have been thrown out of so many countries, because their tactics are the ends justify the means. This stuff's been written about for centuries. And what I brought to the table is showing how they use this code, and you can see that they clearly are behind the English language as we know it. They're clearly behind the calendar. They've clearly got it all synced up, and this is why all of history is this exact same way ever since the 16th century. The century that all of this stuff was created and standardized, and the century the Jesuits came into being. So, it just couldn't be any more obvious. And keep in mind, the name Francis equals Ukraine and Gematria as well. Also in the news, new details. The Sacramento shooting, which is completely synced with the Pope and Superior General, just like the church shooting in Sacramento 34 days before that, where Francis and church equal 34, and so does murder. Again, there was a church shooting in Sacramento 34 days before the shooting right next to the Capitol, synced up with the Jesuit Gavin Newsom's birthday, who just gave his speech on gun control and how it's coming in California. Anyhow, the latest details are that the shooters are brothers, and the main shooter was just released from prison for unknown reasons on February 8th. He was supposed to do a long sentence, and he just got out for unknown reasons on February 8th. Well, go figure. Remember, we just talked about this, how Gavin Newsom's 54 years old. From the day that Smiley Martin was released from prison to the shooting is 54 days later. And as we know, Jesuit order equals 54, sun equals 54. Their logo's the sun. This shooting was on a Sunday. Not only any Sunday, it was the 93rd day of the year when they say the sun is 93 million miles away. And just like the church shooting was on the 59th day of the year to undermine the Second Amendment, notice Second Amendment in Gematria is 59 forward, 76 in reverse, just like Smiley Martin. And let's not forget Pope Francis is 59 in the most pure. Again, how we called the 59th election dead on for Joe Biden becoming number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday when Catholics 46, and there's 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. Not to mention John F. Kennedy equals 59, the only Catholic president before Biden who was killed at age 46. Again, Biden wins the 59th election. And speaking of that 46, this man has this tattooed on his face. TMM, add up those letters. 20 plus 13 plus 13. T's the 20th letter, M's the 13th. 46. Chaos 46, Ordo Ab Chao, the Latin for order out of chaos 46, Catholic 46. Again, I mean, could it be any more obvious, you guys? This should remind you of what happened in Wisconsin, which was a clear, huge Jesuit ritual where the guy was released for no reason from prison and then supposedly ran over a bunch of people at a Christmas protest. And he had Jesuit order encoded in his name, as we talked about then. So, this is what's going on, you guys. You know, Jesuit operations, they control your government, your news media. They have the power. They control the system above the law because they created the law. They're the ones who can come in and just release a guy from prison. And, you know, he's probably chosen because, you know, he might have the right birthday, the right name, the right pedigree, might somehow be a part of this Jesuit network. Remember, the Jesuits are a network. Remember what the Jesuits are. They're the military order of the Catholic Church, but the Jesuits are defined as a group of priests and associates of the Jesuits. And how do you become an associate? I mean, I imagine a number of ways. Willing to do their dirt. But, and think about this too. Him and his brother are on the scene, right? It's possible that they didn't pull any triggers or shoot anybody. It's possible that it was a bunch of undercover police and these guys were made to be on the scene because they ended up full of bullets. They're in the hospital full of bullets themselves is the story, but they're also being blamed for the shooting. You know, maybe this guy was pulled out of prison just for this operation and to be used as the patsy. The police is who I would point the blame at if people were really shot. And again, if you guys missed my work on the ground at the latest mass shooting in Washington State, talking to Commander Lee, again, we got Commander Lee, the one quoted all over the media about the supposed shooting, to admit on camera that he hadn't even seen the shooting with his own eyes. You know. But he's there telling the story of the shooting while only the feds are allowed in the buildings. City police outside the building, feds in the building, and who made the arrest in Washington State? 11 hours later, the feds on a federal interstate. Again, nothing but bullshit. But again, just the same old Jesuit pattern. You know, we just went into great detail about the significance of Gavin Newsom being 54, and now, what do you know? 54 days before the shooting, the main shooter was released from prison for unknown reasons. They're not unknown anymore. We know why. Now, remember, when you run Jesuit order in reverse, forwards it's 54, in reverse it's 72. What else is buzzing in the headlines right now? General Milley predicted that Ukraine would last 72 hours. Well, now he's changed his prediction to years. This reminds me of Donald Rumsfeld. Donald Rumsfeld said we'd be in and out of Iraq. It would be a very short war. We'd be greeted as liberators. We'd be in and out. And then, 20 years later. But Jesuit order, 54 forwards, 72 in reverse. Like Paris is 72, where the Jesuits were created on a 72 date numerology. Like the 1,072 rituals they do with the Jesuits. Take Joe Biden, his wife and daughter killed in 1972, right after he becomes senator-elect. While he's 72 years old, his son Beau Biden dies at 46, synced up with the Pope. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit Pope, and a million more things. Remember, where the word sun equals 54... the sun moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. So it's not arbitrary, these numbers. It's all about the sun, the Catholic sun cult, astrology, occult knowledge, numerology, gematria, day after day. And when did this headline first emerge, you guys? It emerged on the 95th day of the year. What were the Jesuits created for? To counter the 95 Theses. This is also making big headlines. So it made headlines yesterday. It's also making big headlines today. And today's the 42nd day of the war in Ukraine. And keep in mind, it's also 181 days after Putin's birthday, where 181 is the 42nd prime, and Jesuit alone is 42, like war's 42. And anyhow, also in the news, Putin's daughters have been sanctioned today. Oh, that seems like an important move to sanction Putin's daughters. And here's the funny thing about this. Again, it's the 42nd day of the war, the supposed war, where war is 42, where Jesuit's 42. It's 181 days after Putin's birthday, the 42nd prime. Guess what the word daughter equals? If you guessed 42, you're exactly correct. And let's see what they do with Putin in 2 days. I have a feeling it's going to get real interesting. I mean, they're doing something every day, but I have a feeling 2 days from now, April 8th, is going to be more interesting than most other days. And the reason why is because it's April 8th, 4-8, where Russia equals 48. And it'll be 183 days after Putin's birthday. We've been talking about this. Vladimir Putin equals 183. Order out of chaos equals 183. Pearl Harbor equals 183. Remember, Biden and Putin met on Pearl Harbor Day to discuss Ukraine. So we'll see what they got for us on April 8th. And yeah, just realize, I mean, every day they're giving you these stories with no evidence behind them. You know, Russian atrocities, mass grave found, and then their proof is two guys dressed in all gray. You know, they got something on some kind of like tarmac or is that the right word? Whatever it is. Like they got like maybe they're carrying a body there, but you can't even make out what it is. It's like, oh, okay, I guess this is the evidence of the Russian atrocities, the same footage all day, over and over and over, the two guys wearing all gray carrying something that you can't even make out. Wow, what evidence of the Russian atrocities? And realize, this is the same reason people have questioned all of history and what supposedly happened in World War II. There's a reason there's the book, The First Casualty of War is the Truth. And we see what the real purpose of this war is. It's a new world order event to achieve the goals of Agenda 21 and 2030, just like coronavirus was. Another new world order plot. And again, if you guys have still not read my book, I mean, it's a shame, because everything I wrote about in this book that's been out for almost 2 years now has all come to pass, and it's exactly as I described. Not to mention, I said in this book why as soon as the year of the tiger rolls around, they will wind down the pandemic, and that's exactly what they do as soon as the year of the tiger came. You know, all across the world, ending the pandemic restrictions, the mandatory vaccinations, the mask muzzles. And but like I said in the book, these agendas aren't going away. You know, they got other pandemics planned. They got all sorts of plans to get us to where they said we're going to be by agenda or by 2030. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. You know, Agenda 2030 to drastically reduce emissions. And as Bill Gates gave us at his TED Talk in 2010, one of the ways to reduce emissions is to reduce the amount of people. So, anyway, there's that. Also yesterday in Erie, Pennsylvania, supposedly a mass shooting. Keep in mind, Erie, Pennsylvania is one of the most Catholic cities in all of the world. And the current mayor there is a trained Catholic priest. Well, look at how this lined up here in Erie, Pennsylvania. So it came on the 95th day of the year. Again, the Jesuits countered the 95 Theses. Came on the mayor's 144th day of his age while he's age 71. Remember, Jesuit order equals 144. When you spell out 71 as a word, it equals 144. And when you spell out Catholic, it equals 71. One of my oldest teachings, once written down in my notebook that I noticed. Catholic is 71. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Erie's also 71. So what a perfect day lined up with the mayor. Not to mention it was 144 days after the Superior General's birthday. Not to mention it was 109 days after the Pope's birthday, where shooting's 109. Remember, Sacramento's 109. The church shooting in Sacramento was on the 109th day of the Superior General's age. If you watched my video on Sacramento, I showed how the basketball game that night would surely be synced with the shooting and why the Warriors would be picking up their 50th win over the Kings. And then the winning score ended up being 109 points. Getting sports and news always connected. Clear rituals. But again, the date 4-5 or 5-4 was this. IHS is 45. The acronym in the Jesuit logo, Jesuit Orders 54. And again, just all across the nation, all these little rituals, always synced up with the local government, which should tell you, it's clear who owns your government. City government, state government, federal government. This nation from the beginning is a Jesuit creation, period. And, for one more story this morning, if you missed all the work I did on the Amir Locke reported killing, that was big news on February 4th. I called Keith Ellison's office. If you missed that phone call, you might want to go back and listen to it. And you can get to it easily because I linked it at the bottom of this post. You can go back and listen to the call to Keith Ellison's office about this. The whole thing was synced with him. But remember, they said Amir Locke was shot at 6:48, right? 6:48. And again, this is in Minneapolis where George Floyd, the whole story at first when it began was 8:46, 8:46, 6:48. They're reflections of each other. They're mirrors of each other. Now we get the Amir Locke killing, right? And supposedly the killing was on the 33rd day of the year. Remember, the George Floyd riot started on 33rd Street, not to be confused with the Rodney King beating on 3-3 that led to protests and riots. And remember, police equals 33, like order, like secrecy, like masonry, like federal, like race war. And again, modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation. But look at this. From the supposed killing to today's news that there's going to be no charges for the police who went through Amir Locke's lock. It was a no-knock warrant, bust through his door and kill him. This is what they tell us. Again, I'm pretty sure this entire story is a load of shit. Another operation to fuck with the populace, to divide people, to piss them off. But notice, it's 63 days later. Given countless lessons on racism in 63, you might recall after the George Floyd riot, one of the top headlines was the 63-year-old restaurant in California was changing its name because of George Floyd. You might recall all the rituals they did with Bill Cosby when he was getting shamed with 63, plus many more. The whole, what's his name? Emmett Till. The whole Emmett Till thing was a big 63 ritual. All things we've talked about so many times. But notice Keith Ellison, who this is all synced up with, is born in 63, has the same birthday as Obama. And today's exactly 35 weeks after Keith Ellison's birthday, who's Catholic and Jesuit. And as we know, Catholic equals 35 forwards, 46 in reverse. JFK, number 35, killed at age 46. Joe Biden, number 46, elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age. But we're Catholics 35 and 46, again, 35 weeks after his birthday, on the date April 6th, 4-6. Should remind you that George Floyd was killed at age 46, so we're told. The surname Locke, the way they spell it with an E, is 46, like chaos. The Latin motto Ordo Ab Chao, 46 in reverse, 62. Minneapolis, 62 in the same cipher. Remember, Floyd is 62, Park is 62, supposedly killed by the Park police. And from the day that the news broke of this, February 4th, to today is a span of 62 days. So if you want to go back and see the work I did on Amir Locke, there's a number of videos. So you got this video, if you remember this, the deaths of Ashley Bryan, Darius Dugan, and many more, all the stuff that was going on in February, all the 42 rituals we covered. Amir Locke in the most pure ciphers, 42, like how the news broke in February, the 42 month on Rosa Parks' birthday, a date that can be written 4-2. But if you missed these videos at the time on Amir Locke, you can go back and watch them. And again, it's just clockwork, right? All the same things we were talking about back in February, now they bring it back on April 6th. The parallels to George Floyd, killed at age 46. And this is the Masonic Jesuit motto, order out of chaos. United we stand, divided we fall. This is how they keep us divided. And for all the young black trolls around here, again, it makes me sad that it seems that the majority of the paid-for trolls that harass the Patreon all day, they happen to be young black men, because you can hear it when they call in. And they'll say things like, man, shut the fuck up, faggot, Gematria bullshit. Bullshit, bro. And it's like, what kind of young black man is saying Gematria is bullshit in light of what we're exposing? The way young black men are shamed, stereotyped, the racism code, the no justice code. What kind of person are you? to be going against the person who's exposing the evil and the programmed racism. And again, I mean, all of you guys who call in and sound like stereotypes, bro, faggot, bro. All you guys who call in and sound like stereotypes, again, what you guys are doing is the bidding for the Jesuits. You know, you make it look like they're right. You know, if you ever turn on Fox News, that's a network dedicated to shaming black men, making it seem like black people are inferior and stupid. Occasionally they'll bring on a token black guy to support, their viewpoint. But all you guys who call in here, you guys make Fox News look right. So you better think about, what's wrong with you. Gematria is bullshit, bro. No, it's not. It's not. You can prove it every day. Don't be a stereotype. Again, too many of you guys start your sentences with bro. I mean, literally, like every retard that comments on my work starts their sentence with bro. Every retard that calls into this program starts their sentence with bro. Try not to talk like a bot. A robot, a program robot. And that's what most people are. It's like a society, people under a spell, no common sense. They all have the same ambitions to fit in with everybody, to watch news media and talk about the programming, like program robots, bro. But, again, I know there's people out there that are trying to say that Zach's a racist. Again, show me anyone that's doing more work on behalf of black people in the world. But am I a little bit racist? Yeah, I just like everybody. I really don't like when black people start talking shit because it pisses me off. I'm sitting here literally I got a book out there. When I have a black guy come at me and talk shit, I really don't like it because I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this person? Maybe Fox News isn't wrong. I really don't think that, though. As I've always said, black people tend to be more awake, and the reason they're more awake is because they're more oppressed by the system, and being oppressed and growing up in shit circumstances, it'll tend to wake you up. It's what I have in common. I grew up in a black neighborhood. So, anyway, it does make me sick how many of the trolls are young black people. Why don't you guys go out if you can't do anything better with your life and go work at a mattress store and, dance around with the mattress sign on the corner. Be a lot more honorable than trolling work that sticks up for you, So, anyhow, if you don't like the message right here, it's not for you. It's for all the young black trolls that I'm pretty sure are the ones that are employed to harass the work 24/7, 365. And if you're not aware of that, it's because you're not paying attention and you're not the one being harassed 24/7, 365, and you're not listening every time they call in. Gematria bullshit, bro. Okay, what's bullshit is you and your existence. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Until next time.